The first of the focuses is taking a look at the kinds of words you use day in and day out to communicate with your colleagues, the people that you report into, anyone that you call your client, whether it's internal or external. It's amazing that lots of people who are positively focused, enthusiastic, optimistic, and so on, without realizing it, are using a lot of negative language day in and day out, which just might be undermining the maximum probability of getting the result they want from someone else, in terms of as you try to influence and persuade people to see it your way. And then we say these words to one another all day long as we communicate, and those words either bridge or help to advance what you're trying to say, or they undermine it. And oftentimes, even if you're positively focused, enthusiastic, forward-thinking, and so on, you don't even know, because we are hardwired that way through all of our growing up years. What's the opposite of forget? Remember. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that simple, and a little bit that tricky, too, in the beginning. So you have to have a heart's desire to want to take a look at your language day in and day out and learn to get your brain 3 seconds faster than your mouth so that you can backfill with some more positive alternatives. So instead of saying, don't forget the meeting Monday at 2, it's remember the meeting Monday at 2. Remember. Paint pictures with your words of the actions and the behavior that you wish the other person to demonstrate. Always more influential, always more powerful, always more communicative, to do it in that way, to articulate what you need done in that way. And especially if you find that you are not in a position of authority. If you feel that you are a medium man on the rung or frontline person on the rung in the hierarchical scheme of things, all the more reason to learn to influence and persuade upwards without the position through the types of words you choose to use. So in that vein, I have given you some of my very favorite, my cherry-picked favorite sentences. If we were doing this in workshop, I would break you into workshop format now. As we're together for this duration of time, I'm going to share with you where the negative is and what the alternative would be. So if you take a look, for example, at the very first sentence, don't forget the meeting at Friday at 2. We already talked about that. Remember the meeting Friday at 2. On the other hand, take a look at the next one. Someone goes like this, knocks on your office door or phones you up, and we're ever so polite, and it's a lovely thing to do to ask permission to proceed, so they say something like this, have I caught you at a bad time? Right? And oftentimes we'll often do a little bit of a preface by saying, I'm sorry to bother you, I'm sorry to interrupt, I'm sorry to disturb you. Isn't this true? Do you think, oh my goodness, I say those things? And really, it's very gracious and polite because you're not just barging in and shoving your way in. You're asking for permission to proceed. Trouble is this, when we say, I'm sorry, there's the first negative, then bother, disturb, trouble you, those are all negatives, and the other person feels that on some level that seed gets planted. She's bothering me, disturbing me, troubling me, and she's sorry about it. Right? And then we often will say, have I caught you at a bad time? That's it. It is a bad time, and now you've just gone and rubbed it in a little bit more. Right? Obviously, if you've knocked on their door or if you've called them up, it's because you need something. So rather than shoot yourself in the foot, as the expression goes, right off the bat, instead of saying, have I caught you at a bad time? Have I caught you at a... Right? Tricky. It's just that you might as well ask for what you hope it is and marry it up with a little bit of body language. Have I caught you at a good time? Is this a good time? I need to talk with you for a few moments. Is this a good time? And nod that head affirmatively, right? Yes, it's a good time, right? Guess what will happen? If it's not a good time, they will still say so. No, it's not a good time. Can you come back after 4? But you might as well ask for what you hope it is. Is this a good time?